Thank you, Hillary. Oh my goodness, how beautiful to start us off that way. And for those who are viewing online, you're not going to be able to hear the music today, but you'll be able to see the beautiful lyrics that Hillary is leading us through. So, welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. We have a quote here to get us started, and this is from Harriet Tubman. "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." They're talking about you, okay? So each of you, yes, indeed. So let's begin with an opening prayer. I invite you to just take a moment, settle in, letting go of, the to-do list that always seems to be in the back of my mind, maybe yours too. Letting that go, becoming fully present with our breath, and remembering the presence of God here now. That presence expressing through each of us as our higher self, our true north. So we let down any walls that keep us feeling separated from this presence, and we know in reality there is no separation. There's no separation between this presence expressing as me and this presence expressing as you. We are united together in love, in joy, in spirit. And so it is. Amen. I invite you to join me in our vision statement together. Unity of Hagerstown exists to inspire awakening to the divine within and honor the sacred in all. And now we'll have the reading of the daily word with Amy Vanette.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Sunday, March 29th, and our word for today is Palm Sunday. On Palm Sunday, I honor the divine presence within. On Palm Sunday, Jesus made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem riding a donkey colt, spiritually symbolizing dominion of the Spirit over human nature. Today, I find inspiration in that timeless Bible story. Going forward, I commit myself to mastering my impulses and judgments and continually surrendering my imperfections to the Christ within. My commitment is regularly going to the upper chamber of my consciousness and to smooth the rough edges of my mind and open my heart to perfect love and purity. By following Jesus' example, I proceed with courage and confidence along the path of fulfillment and transcendence. And our scripture today is taken from John, the 12th chapter, verse 46. I've come as light into the world so that everyone who believes in me should not remain in the darkness. And our word for today is up on the screen, if you'll join me. On Palm Sunday, I honor the divine presence within. And take a moment and think about that. Let that settle in your mind, in your heart, and your body. And we'll repeat it again together. On Palm Sunday, I honor the divine presence within. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And now we have an opportunity to greet one another, and we do this with a handshake or a howdy, a namaste, a hug. And if you would like to greet those online viewers, just come up around here somewhere. It doesn't have to be this exact spot, because our AV guy is amazing. He can make that lens go wide, right? So let's greet each other, and we'll come back in song. So thank you. I do want to greet our online viewers. We appreciate you so much. We honor and just give thanks for your support, your presence, your prayers, and also your donations. And if you would like to donate, if you get anything from this spiritual community, I invite you to give back through a donation going to unityhagerstown.org. Bye. And now as we find our seats again, we have Hillary once more to lead us in an earth chant. Sweetness is boy. Thank you, Hillary. Oh my goodness gracious. That's yeah, such a beautiful, beautiful chant. And you taught it to us so well, too. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have been doing a series during Lent on what? Jesus and food, that's right. Just to get everybody really hungry before the service is over. No, it's just to see another way of looking at some of the stories in the Gospels. And today we're going to be exploring another example of Jesus and food, and that would be the Last Supper. But before that, we're also going to look at a few of the days during Holy Week as well. His entry into the city of Jerusalem, and a few other things that happened during Holy Week. And we'll have a reflection or an experience offered throughout the service, and kind of interwoven throughout the service. So overall, the theme for Holy Week that we're going to look more closely at is the idea of surrender. Not surrendering to anything outside of ourselves, but surrendering our control, surrendering our need to be right, our desire to, have a certain outcome, and just be more into the flow, that divine flow, surrendering to that presence of wisdom and joy and love within us. So as we saw last week, if you were here or you watched it online, Jesus had just raised Lazarus from the dead, and everyone was pretty excited to see this man who did such miracles. Now, I don't know about you, but I think some of them must have felt like, well, maybe he'll bring one of my loved ones back to life, or maybe he'll do a miracle of healing for me. So I'm sure that there was an element of need in the crowd as well. They were also expecting Jesus to save them from the Roman occupation. So reading from John 12, chapter 12, verse 12. The next day, the great crowd that had come to the festival, the Passover festival, heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord, the King of Israel." So pausing there in our story, Jerusalem was really the heart of Jesus' life at that time. That's where the temple was. That's where everybody went for the festivals. The crowd was there for Passover. When they heard Jesus was coming, it was like, I don't know, a rock star coming to town probably, or my beloved politician, maybe Obama, okay, coming to town. Yeah. So he headed into Jerusalem. He chose to ride a donkey. Now, we all know this story, but aren't you curious as to why he rode a donkey? Well, I don't really know, but I can speculate a little bit. You know, he walked everywhere he went. That was his mode of transportation. He was a strong, healthy man walking, miles and miles from Galilee, Jericho, Bethany, wherever, he was walking. But he chooses to enter town really only a couple hundred yards on a donkey. Well, obviously he wanted to make a statement here. He wanted to make a statement. Now, he frequently used humor and drama and maybe a little shock value as well to make a point, because every moment was a teaching opportunity. But riding a donkey was really symbolic of a holy man. He was saying that he was, in my mind, he was accepting his holiness. He was proclaiming that he was one with God. It's also, looking back through the lens of 2,000 years, it feels like a very humble experience as well. Riding a donkey feels like, that you would have to have some humility to do that. But I don't know at the time. He was coming into Jerusalem, which literally means a city of peace. Oh, Scott Aubrey tells us Jesus entered Jerusalem not with force, but with courage, cloaked in humility, knowing full well what lay ahead. True surrender is not giving up. It is giving over, trusting that the path of compassion, though costly, is always worth it. So he comes into town. His fame had preceded him. The crowd was there, and they were shouting, "Hosanna! Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna!" I grew up thinking that was just another blessing, but that's not what it means. It means save us. Save us. Save us from Roman occupation. Save us from our own, mistakes, perhaps. And Reverend Leilani tells us Holy Week begins with Palm Sunday, representing a moment of awakening. It is the recognition of our own divine nature and the choice to consciously align with Spirit. This is where the journey begins, not outside of us, but within. So metaphysically, Jesus is representing our Christ consciousness within us, our higher self. That true nature, that true home that Hillary had us singing about, the part of us that is our I am, our spirit expressing through us as us. And when our thoughts are aligned with our higher self, then there is a natural uplifting of our thoughts. When we're aligned with that Christ consciousness, there is more peace as well. There is more joy as well. It's throughout our entire being. We are saved from our destructive, our stinking thinking when we're aligned with our own self, our true home. So the trip to Jerusalem really represents for us part of our spiritual path of owning who we are, not just intellectually, but owning it through every aspect of our being. We are one with the one. I mean, sometimes my mind can't even wrap itself around that. We are one with all creation, with the Creator, with each other, with the earth. We are one. Eckhart Tolle tells us, the way of transformation is not to resist life, but to surrender to the deeper current moving through it. Surrender is a simple but profound wisdom of yielding to rather than opposing the flow of life. The only place where you can experience the flow of life is the now. So to surrender is to accept the present moment unconditionally and without reservation. It is to relinquish inner resistance to what is, not fighting that present moment, not fighting what is happening in that moment. Often we find ourselves perhaps distracting our thoughts from whatever's happening through our, favorite means, whether it's, electronic devices or food or alcohol, whatever it is. We all have our favorite ways to distract our thoughts. And sometimes our thoughts become projected onto others if we're resentful or fearful. If we're resentful of another person, maybe saying they don't appreciate all that I do for them. Maybe we're projecting. This is a victim state of being. When we acknowledge that we are actually creating our experience of resentment, we can shift from projecting it to someone to extending it to someone, extending that which we want to give. We want to be appreciated, we appreciate others. We want love, we give love. This formula, Science of Mind magazine tells us, begins with understanding that love is the foundation of the universe, and therefore who and what you are. Because love is who you are, you have all that you need for a life of wholeness. Let's read that again. In fact, let's read that sentence together, because this is important. Together, because love is who you are, you have all that you need for a life of wholeness. How do you access it? Through the law of givingness. Give it away. Give it away. If you want something, give it away. So if we take time to reflect and maybe identify areas in which we don't feel seen or heard or appreciated, can we see that perhaps that comes from projecting it onto someone else? And then we could flip that projection to extension and really be present for others. And that is, my friends, a gateway to surrender, that present moment presence. Letting go of our defenses, our stories, our grievances, and moving into a life of giving. Now, with this shift comes a greater awareness of who we are as that light of the world, an instrument of spirit, knowing that love is the very foundation of who we are, the very foundation of the universe. From this place we walk in spiritual power, knowing who we are. Just as Jesus rode into Jerusalem, claiming his spiritual power, he acknowledged his connection. He's our way shower. He is showing us the way. So we're going to move into a walking meditation. For those of you who have been here on a Palm Sunday before, it's an invitation only. You do not have to take it. You can remain seated. But if you would like to walk the palms, then I really invite you to do so mindfully, being present with each step. See if you can walk them without disturbing any of the palm branches down on the floor. Okay? And as you're doing it, allow your heart to open to the love that you are. Allow your heart to claim who you are, a divine expression of love. That's who you are. You are a spirit. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. But let's claim that spiritual being. So we're going to move into this time of meditation. It will be, again, if you want to walk it, you can also say to yourself, Hosanna, knowing that we are saving ourselves, or rather our higher self is really saving ourselves from our thoughts sometimes, right? From thoughts of resentment, from thoughts of fear, from thoughts of lack. And we can walk in power. Not the little me's power, not the ego's power, surrendering that to Spirit's power, that of Spirit. So we'll go ahead and start. And if you feel led to, or if you just want to try a walking meditation, I encourage you to do so. So just to begin with, Let's go ahead and
Surrender to my greatest, highest good.
let's go ahead and become present to this moment by noticing our breath.
For every step I take
Opening our heart,
is taken in pure faith.
recognizing the presence of God is everywhere,
Stronger
and that includes within me. The presence of God is here now, everywhere I go.
surrender to my
I walk
highest good.
on holy ground.
I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free as I continue walking in this mystery. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. And I am grateful every moment, every day. And I am kinder every moment, every
surrender to my greatest, highest good, and I'm grateful every day. So back to our story of the days in Holy Week. We probably recognize or remember that the religious leaders of the day were angry. They were perhaps jealous because of Jesus' following. Whatever reason they had, they really wanted to do away with him. On Monday, Jesus enters the temple in Jerusalem and overturns the tables. You may remember that as well. The governing officials and the merchants were charging exorbitant prices for necessary things for offerings. What we know in unity, that sometimes we have to overcome things as well that are perhaps unbalanced in our lives. The temple is really symbolic of our own being, our own body. Paul says, "Know you not, you are the temple of the living God? Spirit of God dwells in you." So what might need to be brought into balance in our own lives? Do we have work-life balance? Do we have activity-rest balance? Do we have giving-receiving balance? Ram Dass tells us the ego and soul are in balance. I think that's an interesting quote, which I'd love to talk with you after the service about that, because I'm still unpacking it, tell you the truth, as are power and love. So I want you to take a moment, or let us take a moment to reflect, where do I need to restore balance in my life? And what am I willing to do to bring that balance back? And then when you have identified something within, I invite you to tell a neighbor what it is that you'd like to do to bring that balance back. Perhaps giving yourself a little bit more rest time, or a little bit more play time, or a little bit more me time, whatever it is, let it be known to someone besides yourself, because I find that there's power in speaking the words aloud. We're more committed to it. So let's do that. We'll give a couple minutes for this. So think about what needs to come back to balance in your own life. And this goes for you watching online as well. What do you need to do in order to do that, to bring it back to balance? And I invite you online to go ahead and put it in the comment section, okay? That's your assignment today. Okay, my friends. So as we come back, I actually love these little times of sharing because I feel like it's so rich and meaningful for many. And we need to move on a little bit here. So continuing on with Holy Week, and we are skipping some events because we have like 20, 30 minutes to cover it. So I'm selective. But on Thursday, Jesus and his disciples, of course, observed Passover in the upper room. Passover is such a holy time in the Jewish tradition. Reading from Matthew 26, while they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it and gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." Then he took a cup, and after giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you, for this is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sin." So obviously, this Last Supper has turned into such a strong Christian ritual as well, and that is communion. We have a quote: "The mystical meaning of rite of the communion is union in consciousness with God. It is more than an intellectual thought or a feeling, even though these are included. It is a moment of union. The soul is quickened and we are exhilarated, both mentally and emotionally." So let's move into that. So in unity, that's pretty much how we see communion. It's a remembrance of our union with God. The Christ within is remembered. It used to be said that it was a reminder of God's covenant with humanity through the Christ consciousness, and it's the covenant of oneness is what it is. And it began in the upper room or upper consciousness with Jesus breaking bread, eating of divine substance. Now in the Aramaic, there is no word for body. So what he was really saying, I believe, is that this is myself. Take, eat. Myself, an acknowledgement of our oneness with all creation. We take bread, we give thanks, we acknowledge we are one with the sun, the rain that helped the grain grow. We acknowledge that we are one with everything that brought this bread into being. We are one with the bread as well. We bless and share the wine, drinking of divine life, and reminded of forgiveness and reconciliation. Not God's forgiveness. God is principle, the principle of love. God is principle. So therefore, there's no judgment there. God's not a sky daddy. We come to understand that God doesn't forgive because God does not judge. This forgiveness is for us to do, forgiving our own selves, forgiving ourselves of our human foibles and mistakes, and forgiving others as we release the misconception we have of them as being only that. They are spirit expressing. They are love. So we forgive others. We see them as they are in spirit. The breaking of bread reveals that warm, delicious center of the loaf, just as forgiveness breaks us open to reveal that warm, delicious love that we are, our true self. So our awareness rises. We are uplifted again in consciousness when we understand and live this truth of oneness. So for those who wish to partake of a unity communion, I'm going to invite the greeters to come forth, and if you want to take one of the little, let me just show you. So some of the little, these are symbolic, grapes and crackers, okay? They are gluten-free crackers. And if you get one of these, I would love to have these containers back. But I didn't have quite enough, so some of these are cups. The same thing, grape and cracker, gluten-free cracker in there, but we don't need the cups back, okay? Okay, so as that's being passed around, don't eat it right away because we have a responsive reading to set the stage first. So, and for those watching online, this is your chance to go and get a little bit of juice, a little bit of bread, a little bit of cracker, whatever it is, and you can join us. In fact, please do. Water and, a biscuit would work too. And don't forget to take one for yourself if you want. Okay. Okay. I need to take one too. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's give our greeters a chance to sit back down. So first of all, let's go ahead and bless this food that we have. In your own way, just allow that love and joy to come out and give gratitude for grapes, for gluten-free crackers. How amazing is that, right? Yeah. So now let's do the responsive reading. Take, eat, this is my body. And then together, I take in the bread of life. I am filled with the radiant living substance of the Christ within. I am whole in mind and body. My mind and heart are filled with the truth of spirit. I am one with all creation. And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, saying, drink of it, all of you. Together, I am filled with the new wine of spirit. My mind and heart are renewed by the revitalizing power of life. Christ in you, the hope of glory. You will know the truth, and it will set you free. Together, as I forgive myself and others, I am free. So after the meal, Jesus rather unexpectedly gets up and begins washing the disciples' feet. Reverend Leilani Burke tells us Maundy Thursday calls us into deeper expression of love and humility. It reminds us that spiritual growth is not abstract, it is lived through service, compassion, and our willingness to embody divine love in everyday interactions. So we're asked to serve as Jesus did, compassionately, humbly. On Thursday evening, Jesus went to the Mount of Olives, as was his custom, to pray apart for a while. His disciples followed him, and he asked them to pray, and he went a ways off and prayed, of course, that beautiful prayer of surrender. Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. When we allow our Christ consciousness to lead us, we say that. Maybe not those words, but we say, not my will, but my higher self, my I am, spirit within me. Not my personal will, my ego, but let me move through this day guided by something other than my own wants and desires, my own fears. I affirm my higher self leads me now to still waters. We are reminded today that we surrender in order to live more fully. We surrender our fears to step boldly into our dreams. We surrender our insecurities in exchange for confidence to declare that I am one. I am spirit expressing, and we walk boldly through the day. I invite you to join me in this affirmation. Together, releasing the illusion of control, I surrender to the peace of God. We're going to take just a few minutes for meditation as well, and just allow us some time to incorporate that idea of surrender into our thoughts, into our body. So again, let's go within. Focusing on our heart space. Maybe repeating that affirmation silently. Releasing the illusion of control, I surrender to the peace within. Releasing the illusion of control, I surrender to the peace within. I'm in the flow of life. I am in the flow of life. And we close out this sweet meditation time with gratitude. Giving thanks for this day. Giving thanks for that love that expresses through us, with us, as us. Our hearts are wide open, and we open our lives as well to the activity of spirit within. And so it is. Amen. And now I'm going to invite Hillary to come up and let us learn another chant, shall we? These are fun. Okay. So let's say together our offering affirmation, affirmative prayer, if you will. Taking these words in together, I give joyfully to my beloved community to support our mission of creating sacred space that empowers spiritual growth and ignites compassionate action. I release any fear of not enough and have faith that God is the source of our prosperity, and feel that and say, so it is, amen. Yes, yes. And we'll have the collection, and usually we have a song here. I think I might have not put it in the right place. So, yeah, another song. Let's see. Let me just get out of here, see what's next. Whoops. Hang on. Something new kind of threw me. How about the Earth song? Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, we have some announcements, and those are the ones that you probably are familiar with. Yoga on Monday, Soup Kitchen coming up, Sound Bath on Wednesday, and Stitch with Love that's the second Friday this time, yes. And then some other things, just as a reminder, Help Unity Grow, meeting 10 o'clock on Easter Sunday. So I understand that that's a busy day for many of you, but coming in at 10 o'clock, we can have a little breakfast and have a little conversation, and also learn a little bit more about the 12 powers. And then Adopt a Highway is happening on the 11th. Melissa, can you grab that sign-up sheet and start passing that around? Thank you. I should have done that. If you want to help with that, it's great exercise, fresh air, and you are making a difference, okay? And then on the 12th, which is Sunday, we're having a potluck after the service, and then in the evening, we are meeting at Lido's on Dual Highway for a discussion on the book Ordinary Mysticism by Mirabai Starr. It is such a good book, my friends. And this is also kind of an outreach to college students. We've got flyers posted on HCC campus, and I'm hoping that the Unity folks can maybe pitch in for the pizza for the college kids. Okay, that's the idea behind it. But regardless, if you want to come, I think we're just doing the first couple chapters of the book, flyers in the back and the foyer. And then if you would like to have a prayer partner, there's a sign-up sheet in the foyer as well. You and your prayer partner will determine how often you connect, whether it's once a month, every other week, or you could do it once a week. It doesn't matter to me. It's your support. I will tell you, I've had a prayer partner for many years now, and it's just a delight to be supported in affirmative prayer. If you're not comfortable with affirmative prayer, but you would like to have a prayer partner, let me know, and I can get you some books and maybe coach you through that process, okay? And then, so May 2nd is Egg Fest at Kelly Moore Sheds, and we have, again, an opportunity to just, have a plant sale and bake sale there. So if you have perennials in your garden that you would like to divide, and you're going to divide them anyway, please bring them here the Sunday before May 2nd, that's a Saturday, I believe, or to my place the Friday before that. No, that won't work. Or to Kelly Moore Sheds on May 2nd, early, like about 9 o'clock, because it doesn't start till 10. And if you would like to help us with this kind of plant and cookie sale, and don't have any plants, then you can always bake a batch of cookies and bag them into groups of 6, freeze them, until that weekend, and then just bring them over then. Additionally, we are looking at having a tea and bingo. Now, doesn't that sound like fun? Tea and bingo. It's a great combination. And if we're looking for bingo prizes, so if you are, maybe you have a service that you could offer. Maybe it's weeding. Hey, I'd love to have that as a bingo prize, like 2 hours worth of weeding. Or maybe it's a kayak trip for 2. Whatever it is, be creative with this and let me know if you have a service that you'd like to donate. And I think that is it with our, chairs. Because Sound Bath is happening Wednesday, we need to move the chairs and pick up the palm branches as well. And speaking of palm branches, this is really a reminder for you to take home with you of this experience of knowing that you are one, that you walk on holy ground. And you can keep your palm branch like this, or if you want to turn it into a little bit of a cross, we can do that. It's real easy. I can show you after the service. It's real easy to do. And it's just put it in somewhere where you can see it. It's a great way to recognize that we are at this intersection of our humanity and our divinity. Okay, that's what the cross symbolizes in unity. And real quick, our Silent Unity Prayer Retreat, we have flyers. I'm promoting this now because this is the time to get your airfare. Or drive out there, make arrangements, get the hotel room, and reserve your spot with the retreat. Okay, I think we have another song. Yep. Thank you so much, Hillary. I tell you, that was such a blessing. You know, we love it when and Brett and Patty are here, but we love those chants too. So, yeah. Speaking for myself. So we're going to have a closing prayer with our prayer chaplain today, Diane Morgan. And again, prayer chaplains are available for one-on-one prayer support immediately after the service, or you can utilize the prayer box, the prayer request box out in the foyer. Because I'm having trouble hearing you, so thank you. And we're still live streaming.
Okay. Let's take a deep breath and return to that center of light and love within each of us. And say a prayer of thanksgiving for the wonderful hints, wise words that have been given to us today. To remember, we are spirit, that we are always in touch with our divine self. Let us use the palms. Let us walk the palms each day this week, this holy week, to go deeper into spirit. It's one ongoing journey. Sometimes we think we're there and then we get kicked out by something, but we can always come back. And we have learned many things today to bring us back, and for that we are thankful. So we go on our way this week, remembering this holy week, remembering each day to go deeper into spirit and to share the love and light of spirit with our family, our neighbors, our friends, and our world. We bring peace, love, and joy as we walk each step on our path. And we say thank you. And so it is.
Amen. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite us to get up, and if you want to, and let's form a circle, or maybe we should be all up here in a kind of a circle because we don't have a whole lot of people. And then we can sing our peace song. And let's keep the camera rolling. And let's have our online community join us in this wonderful peace song. I keep thinking standing on the ground with my roots dug in. Okay.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is and all is well. Now hold your places. Zoom out again. We're all going to wave right now. Bye-bye, our beloved online friends. We love you. Okay. Have a great week. Okay.